and welcome to the ARK. I'm Amy Riffle-Kouyeas, and today we are looking at Moonlight Mist out of the Bastien Level 2 piano book. It's on page 13. Moonlight Mist. So first of all, as you look at this, the easiest hand to kind of tackle is always going to be the left hand. And basically, it's just moving from root position chord to root position chord. In the first line, it starts out, it's all C chord notes. C, E, G, 3. The biggest problem most of my students come into is that the C and the E are faster than the G. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and rest and 1 and 2. So it goes through C chords and then it shifts up to F position and basically does the exact same thing. It's just now it's in F position. 1, 2, 3 and plain F chords. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So first line, second line, it's the same thing. Key of C, key of F. In the second line, it does the same pattern. It moves faster and it moves after 2 measures. And it goes from a major sound to a minor sound. It starts out, the first 2 measures are G. The first measure is G major. The second measure is G minor. So G, B, D, and then flatten your third. And then it shifts down to F and basically does the same thing. So F major, and then F minor with a flat third. So here's that third line. 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then for the last line, it just moves back to C and does a very similar thing to the first line. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. On the last measure, you've got that 8 VA. 2, 3. So here's the left hand from beginning to end, straight through. Move to F. G for 2 measures. G minor. F minor. Move back to C. And then drop the octave. So there it is. I'm a fan of doing things 3 times. We talked through it once. I played it straight through a second time. Here it is a third time, just the left hand. So there it is with the left hand. When I send my kids home to practice, I usually tell them to add the pedal with the left hand. So, left hand by itself. Next, we've got the right hand. So for the right hand, same with the left hand, the second line is the same exact pattern. So we're going to talk through the right hand. The last 2 notes of every single measure is the same. It's always G, E. And it starts just like the left hand, it's just a C chord. And then, so C, G, E. And then the G, E stay, but the thumb drops down a half step to B. And then it drops another half step to B flat. And when you want to put your thumb on a black note, you're going to move in on the keys. And it stays on B flat. So, here is the right hand. 2, and these are all quarters. And then in the second line, you're going to shift to F and do the same pattern. It starts with an F chord, it's going to drop a half step, it's going to drop a half step. The third line, it does not do close to the same thing. The two measure groups are similar. I will say that. So for the first two measures, there's only two notes. They're both on the lines. E on the bottom line, G on the second line. You're going to put your fourth finger on G. So your left hand is in G position. Your right hand is not going to G position, which is kind of what you expect it to do. It's going to close up. Second G. And then you're going to shift down to F and do the same thing again. So notice as you cross from like measure 1 to measure 2, and then measure 3 to measure 4, the beat 1 and beat 3 are the same. So 1, 2, 3, repeat, 2, move. 1, 2, 3, repeat. 1, 2, 3. And you don't have to move here because on the last line, it's very similar to the very beginning. So middle C, starting with the C chord, moving down the half step, but then you don't move down another half step. 1, 2, 3, tie, 2, 3. So there's the right hand. Talked through it. I'll do it straight through for the second time. So starting in C position, and then moves half step, another half step, 1, 2, and move to F. 1, 2, 3, half step, 2, and move. Move. Don't move. 2, 3, tie, 2, 3. So here it is again. Third time, last time. So there it is, hands separate. And for most of my students, work on that for a week. When you come back in the second week, we start putting hands together. So here's the problem that almost everybody has, is that even though in both hands are playing C chords, the rhythm is not the same. The left hand is faster than the right. You got to fit two notes in. You have to fit two notes in the left hand in with the right hand. So, that's a big thing. That's hard. I tend to get a lot of kids who do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They want to do it in 4. 3, 4, 1. But it's not. It's in 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I tend to do a lot of get there. And then I leave out beat 3. But if you get to beat 2 on time and then you get to the next beat 1 on time, it works. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. And then that's the hardest part. It's just the coordination of the two hands. So I have found that if you practice 1 to 2, 1 to 2, because that's the hard part. Throwing 3 in isn't hard because this pattern stays the same. So, shifting to the F position, it's the same shape. Again, practice 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The C's come together, the G's come together. Okay, so shifting down to the third line, depending on how this goes, sometimes I break this up into 2 measure groups. This clashes. It's a D in the left hand, it's an E in the right hand, and they do not sound good together. But it's right. And then you shift down and do the same thing again. So there's line 3 again. And then the last line's pretty easy because it's almost the first line again. And you get a ritardando at the end. So you can take your time getting to that low octave. So here it is. I'm going to go ahead and add some pedal in. So straight through without me talking. This is practice number 2. There's number 2. Last time. Here we go. And there it is, Moonlight Mist. Broken up into hands separate and then hands together when I practice it, when I assign it to kids to practice. It's typically practice the first line, practice the second line, break the third line up into 2 different groups, and then put it all together. And I usually don't say practice the 4th line, put it all together. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section and I will respond. Till then, keep practicing.